This is thing that happens with me all the time. And it's been happening. Let's see. I was divorced in 2017. And I think things started getting better in 2020. It's kind of when I started getting over the hump, uh, of going through the breakup, the divorce, and starting to figure out that, hey, man, life's got to move on. You know what I mean? But it's probably been going on since 2020, and it's been ever since. So we're in 2024 now. But there's this thing that goes on with me that people seem to still think I'm married. And, and I don't blame them, because I have probably a relationship with my ex-wife that, most people are not used to seeing. And what I mean by that is, no, we are not, 1 foot in, 1 foot out, connected in any physical or, personal way when it comes to relationships or anything. Those days are long gone. In fact, she's been in a relationship for probably close to 5 years. But we're on some grown folks shit, all right? And what I mean by that is we're on some, we've been through the hard times. We've been through the situations where we know that the journey could be a lot harder for us. Meaning, we both know people who have had really bad breakups. We both know people who can't stand each other. We both know people who can't even, everything has to go through email or text message or through a third party. We both know people like that, because they just can't get past their past or their relationship. For the last 4 years, and if you hear cars, again, I'm on my morning walk. This is where I do a lot of thinking, a lot of talking. But for the past 4 years, we've rebuilt our relationship through co-parenting, through being great parents to our children, and growing and getting past our own situations. Now, don't get me wrong. It is not foolproof. It's not perfect, okay? We're human. There are reasons why we're divorced, okay? But we get through them, and we work through them, and they don't break us down like they used to. We do have days where we don't see eye to eye. We still have days where I'll say, you know what, I can't talk to you about this. I gotta go for a walk, or I'll be back later. I'm gonna go work. Because we're human, okay? We're adults, and oftentimes, two adults, especially a man and a woman, don't see eye to eye. Especially if you're raising kids, right? So that we still have those days. But an overwhelming percentage of the time, we get along great. We don't have issues to where, we show up at our kids' baseball tournaments, and I'm on one side of the field and she's on another side of the field, and we're not sitting next to each other. And then after the game, my kid gives me a kiss and then goes to the other side and gives her a kiss, and then we try to figure out who they're going to go home with. We don't do that. In fact, oftentimes when I'm not coaching, we're sitting damn near next to each other, rooting on our kids. Oftentimes, when we have a break in between games, we're sitting at the same table, having lunch, whatever it is, or if we go out after a game because we won, or just because we want to celebrate with the kids, we're all sitting at the same table. having great conversations, eating, having drinks, or whatever. And because that isn't a normal thing, which is so, I mean, I guess you could say it kind of sucks that's not more of a normal thing for people, because it should be. You should be able to get to a point where you guys can agree that, hey man, we're better off friends, because the relationship didn't work out doesn't mean that we can't get along and show our children that we are, that we're better than that, and that they deserve to be around better than that, not have trauma and whatnot. Now, we joke a lot. We share old stories. I mean, you name it. We're able to take trips together, because it's all in the name of giving your kids, or our kids, the best experience growing up. Because let's be honest, your kids are only young for so long. That time flies by, all right? And trust me when I tell you right now, that time is flying by for us. Jordan just turned 15. I'm bugging out because he's going to be a sophomore, and next year he'll be 16 and be ready to drive, which is crazy to me. Jaden just turned 13. So when you think about it, in 5 more years, both of my kids are completely out of high school and in college. And although my parenting won't stop there, life is going to be different. So why not get along? Why not do things cordially and give these kids the best, childhood growing up? So where when they speak about, this to their significant others, or whoever they end up marrying, or whoever they end up getting into a relationship with, when they speak about this growing up, they're speaking about it in a good light. They're speaking about it in a sense that, hey man, my parents didn't stay married, but damn if they didn't get along and almost lightweight fool everybody to think that they might still be together because of how good they get along. And I bring this up because, the other day I'm, leaving the training facility for our baseball team, travel ball team I coach. And one of the parents had said something about a trip we were going to be going on for travel ball. And I was like, I said, hey, maybe I'll meet me a new woman out there. And she looked at me and she was like, kind of like surprised. And I looked at her, I said, hey, I'm not married anymore. I haven't been married since 2017. She's like, oh, I didn't know. I thought you were. She goes, I was like, I'm going to act like I didn't hear that, and I promise I won't say nothing. And I was like, no, you don't have to cover for me like that. I go, I'm not married. I've been single since 2017, like fully single, no girlfriend, no nothing. I'm just fully focused on the kids. I go, but I know everybody, man, you guys, are you serious? You guys get along so great. And I would have never guessed. I go, well, me not having a ring and her not having a ring on should have gave it away. I go, but no, we just have a great relationship. But that kind of comes with the territory when you've known somebody for the better half of 34 years. Yeah, that's how long we've known each other. Maybe even longer. Good Lord, it might be 35 now. Something like that. We've known each other for a long time. And this lady was pleasantly surprised. She was like, wow, that's awesome. I wish more couples, or former couples were like that, because so many kids, she goes, dealing with, parents and whatnot. So many parents have so many little stipulations they have to deal with in order to get things done for the kid to play. I said, yeah, I can only imagine. But that got me thinking of how many times I've had to explain that to people. I've even had people tell me, are you sure? I feel like you're lying, like, because you're trying to find the new best thing. And I'm like, the new best thing, meaning like find another girl while I'm still in a relationship? I said, no, that's not how I function. I said, I promise you, I am single. I am no longer married, and I don't fuck around like that. So, me and her are friends. In fact, for anybody who's actually watching and listening to this, in fact, I just shared on a podcast a couple episodes ago that I just recently had a conversation with her current boyfriend, and and it was the first time we actually had a man-to-man talk, and we're cool. Very respectful. Seems like a stand-up guy. My kids think he's okay, and that's all that matters. And I shared that with you guys on this podcast. But yeah, that happens so frequent that it just got me thinking of how jaded we are and how comfortable we are with the fact that two people who don't work out in a marriage are usually very toxic with each other, are usually they're not very cordial, and they struggle to get through co-parenting because they just can't put their stuff behind them. And it got me to thinking how unfortunate that is, because yeah, I mean, as adults, it is what it is, right? But for the kids to have to deal with that and see that every day and hear you guys talking the way you talk to each other, or realize that they have to make a choice every time something's going on for the family, it's not good. And I'm so thankful that, my situation isn't like that, because it could have been like that. But I always tell you guys about doing the work, right? I had someone not too long ago tell me, you always say that in your podcast, do the work. And I said, yeah, because so many of us go through life and we don't do the work, but we expect all the results that we want, right? I'll reference the gym again, like I always do. You can't go to the gym and work out once a week and expect to have the results that you're looking for. You can't, okay? It's just not possible. You can't, want a better life or a better relationship with your ex-wife or your ex-girlfriend or whoever it is, or your kid's mother if you've never been married. You can't expect to have a good life with them if you're not going to put in the work and try to fix your shit. See, and that's where the problem lies. A lot of us men, we don't want to fix our shit, or we don't want to put in the work, or we just put it to the side and we feel like we don't have any issues to fix. But because we're divorced and, maybe things didn't go our way, we're on some fuck her. I don't give a fuck about anything about her. I don't want to talk to her. I don't care about her. I just want to see my kid. That's fine too. But at some point, things have to change. Otherwise, your life is going to continue to be hard. It's going to continue to be difficult. You're going to have a strained relationship with your kids. And for what? For what? Here's the thing, man. The relationship's over. It's over. Okay? There's nothing you can do about it. And that's what I had to face. It's over. We're not in love no more. We grew apart. We don't live together no more. It sucks. That's what I'm talking about early on. These are all the things that were going in my head. I'm separated. My kids are in 2 different homes now. We got to figure out how we're going to do events, how we're going to do birthdays. All that shit's difficult. Why make it harder by holding on to a grudge for years and years and years when you can do the work, whether that means going to get counseling, going back to church, doing things that are going to help you clear your mind and help you become a better version of yourself. Exercising like I'm doing right now out here. Feels good to be out here exercising. You guys, you get inspired by people who are jogging, people who are walking, doing everything that you're doing. Everybody out here trying to be better. Why not do stuff like that? Do the work and slowly heal yourself. And then say, you know what? I feel better about myself. I've learned to love myself again. I learned to tell myself it's okay, you made a mistake. Maybe my marriage didn't work out. But there are millions of people who have failed marriages that end up turning their lives around and having good lives. It's not over. The relationship might be over, but it's not over for you in life. And to be honest with you, it's so much better when you can have a relationship with your kid's mother to where you can joke again and laugh again and all of those things, because your kids enjoy it. They see it and they'll chime in on the jokes and have a good time. And I'll tell you right now, the jokes that are going on right now with my kids because they're teenagers are hilarious, because now the jokes have gotten a little bit more grown and we kind of rag on each other pretty good. And it's a good spot to be in. Now, I had someone also tell me recently, but don't you think that affects you meeting somebody? Because when you're in public, some people may not want to approach you, or maybe don't approach you, because they assume that every time they see you and you're around her, that you guys are together. Yeah, I've thought about that as well. And you know what? Nothing I can do about that. Okay? If someone really wants to meet me, they'll ask. They'll ask somebody. They'll look for a ring. And they'll notice. And outside of that, I can't really worry about that, because honestly, I'm so locked in with raising my kids and coaching baseball and being a mentor and training these other kids with, the stuff that I do with fitness and all the stuff you guys see me do on my Instagram. I'm so locked in with that, if just me merely being around my ex-wife and my kids and people thinking, there's got to be something more there. If that is hindering me from meeting somebody or someone coming up to me and talking to me, not much I can do about that. I'm not gonna, sever my ties and sit at a table by myself away from them, because I want everybody to realize, oh, he's single. It's not the way I operate, man. Just not. So yeah, I guess, I told this person, I guess you're right. Yeah, I could see that. Because there's been enough people that have thought that we were still together. But like I said, it's not that big a deal to me. And if and when that time comes, I'll be cool with it. I'll welcome it. Because I'm of the belief that when it's time, it'll be the right person. It'll be perfect timing, because it'll be God's timing. And that's that. I don't leave anything else to chance. I leave it all up to God. So that's where I stand with everything. And I just want to touch bases with you guys and talk to you guys about this and about having a better relationship with your kid's mom and understanding that it isn't easy, but if you're asking somebody who's going through it and who's dealing with it, my life would be so much more worse, so much more difficult, I should say. Excuse me, more worse. So much more difficult if I didn't have a great relationship with my kid's mom. And to be honest with you, I appreciate being on some grown shit. And hopefully this hits home for you guys, all right? I love you guys. I appreciate you all so much. And like I always say, my life isn't perfect. Oftentimes it is a mess. But for me, it is a perfect mess. Peace.